Hello students, we had discussed about chapter first, crop production and management, class 8th. But today we are going to discuss about chapter 2 of class 8, that is microorganisms, friend and foe. Here in the slide, the first point is microorganisms. The microorganisms are also called as microbes. Here in the bracket you can see this is another word for the microorganisms. So we can say microorganism or microbes. Students, you have seen several kind of plants and animals. However, there are other living organisms around us which we normally cannot see. These are called microorganisms or microbe. Now, here in the chapter, you are going to learn about microorganisms. So here you can see one word, that is friend, and here another word, that is foe. So in the chapter, you are going to learn about microorganisms, how they are friend of human being, how they are friend of environment, as well as to them foe is also we can say, or we can call microorganisms are foe. So means they are enemy, they are bad, they are harmful. So how they are harmful we are going to learn in the chapter, as well as they are our friend also, they are helpful also, they are useful also. So how they are useful, how they are our friend. So these 2 points we are going to learn in this chapter. So here nowadays microorganisms, they are very helpful. Maybe you have learned in the previous class some uses of the microorganism in case of nitrogen fixation, that is rhizobium bacteria. So in detail we will learn in this chapter. Now, what is microorganism? This question is most important because we should know what is microorganism. Microorganisms are very small organisms which cannot be seen with unaided eyes. They can be seen only with a magnifying glass or microscope. So mostly microscopes are used to see these microorganisms because they are very small. With our open eyes we cannot see them. Microorganisms may be unicellular or multicellular. Now, what is meant by unicellular? Unicellular means made up of one cell, which is made up of one cell. And what is multicellular? Multicellular means made up of many cells. Multi means many and uni means one. So some microorganisms, they are made up of one cell, that is unicellular, and some microorganisms are made up of many cells, that is multicellular. Now the third point is given here. Microorganisms may exist alone or in colonies. Sometimes microorganisms, they are existing in colonies, sometimes they are alone. So some microorganisms may found in colony, some may found alone. So this is the existence of microorganisms. Now microorganisms are found in all kind of environment like ice cold climate, hot springs, desert, marshy lands, etc. They are also found inside the bodies of other organisms. So this is, in short, we can say shelter of microorganisms, where they found or where we can get the microorganisms. But see, microorganisms cannot be seen with the naked eyes. It can be seen with the help of microscope. Now, here may be the question, microorganisms found in all kind of environment like ice cold. So where microorganism we can find in the environment like ice cold, hot spring. The next point, types of microorganisms. So there are 4 main types of microorganisms. Which are those? Number 1, bacteria, then fungi, algae, protozoan. So these are the 4 types of microorganisms. Here you can see that viruses. Nowadays we heard more about coronavirus. It is a virus, but these viruses are also considered as microorganism. They are different from other microorganisms because they reproduce only in body of host organisms like bacteria, plant or animal. So these microorganisms are microscopic. Actually, these viruses are microscopic, but they are not considered as microorganism. And however, they reproduce only inside the cells of the host organism, which may be bacterium, plant or animal. Here some examples are given: algae, Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, etc. Fungi, bread mold, Penicillium, Aspergillus, etc. Protozoan, amoeba, Paramecium. So this type of microorganisms are given as an example. In the picture also you can see all those examples are shown. Now the next point is virus. Here you can see the picture of virus. This picture of virus. Here you can see some labelings also, but in our science NCERT book, simple picture or simple diagram is shown. There is no labeling. So this picture is just for your information. Next point, most important point, that is friendly microorganisms, useful microorganisms, because you have seen in the first slide the title of the chapter, title of the lesson, microorganisms, friend and foe. So here is the friend word. So how this microorganisms is friendly with the environment, with the human being, with the other living organisms. So we will see with this slide. Microorganisms like bacteria decompose organic waste into manure and increase the fertility of the soil. In the previous lesson, you heard about Rhizobium bacteria. That Rhizobium bacteria found in the root nodules of leguminous plant, that also helps for the nitrogen fixation. But in a soil, there are different type of microorganisms present which can help to decompose the organic waste into manure. Organic waste may be in the form of dead plant or dead animal. So you have seen many animals, when they are dead near the roadside, they start decomposing, and when we pass from there, then we have a bad smell. That bad smell just because of decomposition. Now who start this decomposition? So bacteria. Where are they present? So they are present in the soil, and when they start decompose that organic waste, that dead body of animal or plant, slowly it convert into a manure. And when it convert into manure, that manure get mixed in the soil, which can increase the fertility of soil, which can make the soil fertile. And in the fertile soil, plants grow properly. So this is the main important point. The second one is the microorganism help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen compounds in the soil and increases the soil fertility or increases the fertility of soil. So here we can take example of Rhizobium bacteria. So Rhizobium bacteria, where it is found? Yes, it is found in the root nodules of the leguminous plant, and this microorganism help to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. The nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere, that is 78% nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. So from that amount of nitrogen, some amount is get fixed into a soluble compound of nitrogen. Who will fix? Rhizobium bacteria will fix that atmospheric nitrogen into soluble compound of nitrogen. Now third point is here. Microorganisms are used for making curd from milk, for making cheese, pickles, bread, cakes, pastries, alcohol, wine, vinegar, which is called as acetic acid. So all these are made by the microorganisms, because with the help of microorganisms we can convert milk into curd, then we can make cheese, we can make pickles, we can make bread also. For making bread, yeast is used. For cake, pastries, yeast is used. For making alcohol, again yeast is used. Wine also made by it only. Then vinegar. All these are made by the microorganism. So because of this, microorganisms are helpful. Microorganisms are used for making medicines. So but some medicines are also made by microorganisms. So which medicines, how alcohol is made, how bread is made, we will see in detail. The first point is making curd from milk. The bacterium called lactobacillus reproduces in milk and help to convert milk into curd. So lactobacillus, this bacteria, lactobacillus, this microorganism is present in the milk, so that can reproduce in the milk and help to convert milk into curd. So the curd, we obtain curd just because of lactobacillus bacteria. So this bacteria is very helpful to convert milk into curd. Making bread. Now the fungus called yeast produces in flour dough and produces carbon dioxide during respiration, which makes dough soft and helps in making bread, cakes, biscuit and pastries. So yeast start reproduction in the flour dough, because when we add water in the flour, when we make dough, it becomes wet and the yeast get moisture as well as warm place. So in a warm and moisture, yeast can reproduce and many yeast get formed, and because of that, when the reproduction of yeast starts, at that time the carbon dioxide gas during the respiration released out, and that carbon dioxide gas makes dough soft, and by this soft dough bread, cake, biscuit, pastries are made. Now alcohol. Making alcohol, again the fungus yeast. Now see where the yeast is used. Uses of yeast in the making of bread, cake, pastries, as well as in the making of alcohol. So alcohol production also takes place with the help of the fungus yeast. That yeast reproduces in sugar solution. When sugar solution, in that when we add yeast, then it convert into alcohol, and that process is called as fermentation. So fermentation is nothing but conversion of sugar solution into alcohol with the help of yeast. Then the next use of the microorganism is to make medicine. Some bacteria and fungi are used to make medicines which kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. Such medicines are called as antibiotics. Antibiotics, for example, is given here: streptomycin, tetracycline and erythromycin. These are the few examples of antibiotics. When you fall ill, then sometime doctor advises you that for the antibiotics. If you have seen some medicines, if you observe it neatly and carefully, on some medicines, streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin, these contents are written. So these are the antibiotics which helps to make us free from the diseases, because some bacteria, some fungi, when they enter in our body, they cause some diseases, and to kill these bacteria and fungi, we have to kill them or stop their growth. So for that purpose, antibiotics are needed. Example of antibiotics are given: streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin. But the uses of these antibiotics are different for different uses. Next point is vaccine. Vaccines are dead or weakened microbes introduced into the body to produce antibodies. Now, vaccine means what? In vaccine also there are some dead or weak microorganisms are used. They are injected in our body. Why they are injected in our body? To produce antibodies in our body. And when antibodies are produced, our body can fight against that such diseases. These antibodies protect the body from disease causing microorganisms. For example, polio, cholera. Here examples are given: polio, cholera, typhoid, smallpox, hepatitis, etc. can be prevented by taking vaccines. Now vaccines are available. All these diseases vaccines are available. When child get born, at that time BCG vaccine is given to the child, and after few months there is a proper interval of time, and by that interval of time the child gets the different type of vaccination: polio vaccination, cholera vaccination, typhoid vaccination, smallpox, hepatitis. All these vaccinations are available, and in this vaccination actually dead or weak microorganisms are used, and they are injected in our body to increase our antibodies, to produce antibodies, to increase our immunity power. So these are the uses of microorganisms. So in this way we can say microorganisms are friend. But with all these uses, again we can add few uses in it. For example, these microorganisms helpful for cleaning the environment. How it helps to clean the environment? There are dead bodies of animal or plant which can get slowly decomposed into a good type of manure. So for this decomposition, again microorganisms helps, and then that organic matter converted into a manure which can be used to increase the soil fertility. So in this way automatically environment get clean. So in this way we have seen all the uses of microorganisms. So here you can write a question: what are the uses of microorganisms, or what are the applications of microorganisms? So you can write all these uses in a proper way. Then we will move towards the next point. The next point is harmful microorganisms. Now you have seen microorganisms are friend. Now we will see microorganisms are foe. How they are harmful, how they are not good for us, means how they are bad, or how they are enemy. We can say enemy also to them, but how? Now some microorganisms causes diseases, or some microorganisms cause diseases in plant and in animal. Such disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Now pathogen is a one type of microorganism. Again, pathogen means microorganisms but which are causing diseases. So disease causing microorganisms are called as pathogens. Some microorganisms grow in food substances and produce toxic substances and make the food poisonous. Food poisoning causes illness, even death also. Now some organisms, they start growing in the food, or they start growing in the food substances where they produce the toxic material, and if we consume such type of food where the microorganisms are grown and the toxic material is produced, then such type of food causes food poisoning, and if anyone suffer from the food poisoning, that person may fall ill, that person start vomiting. Otherwise, if it becomes very serious or critical, then that person may have death also. So in this way these microorganisms make the food toxic or poisonous. In this way it is harmful. Some microorganisms spoil material like clothing, leather and wood. So not only food but also clothing, leather, wood get spoiled by these microorganisms, where our favorite cloth, leather or wood, when it is get attacked by microorganisms, when it gets spoiled, then this material can get damaged. Again, here the next point is disease causing microorganisms in human. Disease causing microorganisms enter our body through air, water, food. You should know how microorganisms, microbes or pathogens enter in our body. So they enter through air, through water, through food. That's why this air, water, food, when we consume food, when we consume water, that food, that water must be fresh, clean, and these microorganisms enter in our body again by contact or by insect. Now here by contact also microorganisms get sprayed, or by insect also. So these microorganisms which enter in our body through air, through water, through food, by contact or by insect are called as pathogens. Disease which can spread from infected person to healthy person are called communicable disease, or are called communicable diseases. Now the diseases which can spread from infected person, the person which is suffering from illness, which is suffering from a disease, that is infected person, and from that person if the disease is spread to a healthy person, then such type of disease is called as communicable disease. Now which are those diseases? For example, here it is given cholera, common cold, chicken pox, tuberculosis. Tuberculosis we can say in short TB. We can say in short TB. TB means tuberculosis. So these are the communicable diseases. This cholera, common cold, chicken pox, tuberculosis can be spread from an infected person to a healthy person. Some insects and animals act as carriers of disease causing microbes. Animal also act as a carrier of disease causing microbes. Some insect also, for example housefly, female Anopheles mosquito which cause malaria disease, and female Aedes mosquito which cause dengue fever. So these are the insects which carry disease causing microbes. Example housefly. So for that purpose we should not eat the food which is not covered, and some sellers are there which are selling their food items near the roadside, so there may be the housefly can sit and make the food spoiled. So this type of uncovered food we should avoid to eat. Again in our house also, in our home, we have to cover all the food items with a proper cloth or proper utensils. Then the housefly will not spread the diseases. Female Anopheles mosquito, this mosquito if bite a person, healthy person, the person may have malaria. Or a female Aedes mosquito if bite, then person may have dengue fever. So this type of insect and the diseases may come for the match the pair, so you have to learn it well. We will see next point. Here you can see the female Anopheles mosquito, and here the Aedes mosquito. This female Anopheles mosquito cause malaria, where this mosquito cause dengue fever. Now here in the picture you can see after biting by an insect how the microbes get transferred in the human body, in a healthy human body. It is shown how it attacks on our body. It is just extra information for all of you to know this. The next point is disease causing microorganisms in plant. Just we have seen these pathogens are causing diseases in animals as well as human beings, but in plant also these microorganisms cause some diseases. So which are those? Now in the plant like rice, wheat, potato, sugarcane, apple, orange, these are the examples of plant. In this plant microorganisms may cause diseases. These diseases reduce crop yield. Then they can be controlled by using chemicals which kill the microorganisms. Now here you can see in the picture the leaves, this is the lemon, so which is not in proper condition. Here also the leaves of the plant, they are not well. Here also the plant leaf structure is different. Here it is green, but here it is different. So these parts of the plants are attacked by microorganisms, and because of this they may have disease, and when the plant has a disease, then the yield or production by the crop get reduced. So in this way we have to control all those diseases by using the pesticides, some chemicals which can kill the microorganisms, and nowadays farmers are using, but it should be used in a proper amount. We should avoid the overuse of all those chemicals, otherwise that overuse of chemicals may spoil our health, and nowadays it is happening. So be careful, farmers should be careful while using all the chemicals. Next point, here in the slide you can see, in the slide you can see some common human diseases caused by microorganisms. Please, here some instructions are there, kindly note the change. This column here, it is the mode of transmission. So the diseases names are given: chickenpox caused by virus, the mode of transmission by air, by contact; polio virus caused by virus, mode of transmission air and water; measles caused by virus and mode of transmission air; hepatitis B caused by virus and the mode of transmission is water. Here TB means tuberculosis caused by bacteria, mode of transmission air; typhoid, cholera caused by bacteria, mode of transmission for typhoid water, and for cholera water and food. So next is malaria caused by protozoa and mode of transmission mosquito, it is insect. Now some plants or diseases are shown here. Citrus canker caused by bacteria and the mode of transmission is air; rust of wheat caused by fungi and the mode of transmission air, seed; yellow mosaic okra or reddish finger bhindi caused by virus and transmission, mode of transmission is water. Next is food preservation. Now it is most important point. Food is spoiled by microorganisms, and spoiled food has a bad smell, bad taste, and causes food poisoning. We know that. If we keep any food item or any rasa vegetable or any wet food item for many days, it start spoiling, and when it starts spoiling, it gives very very bad smell and very bad taste, and it causes the food poisoning. Food can be preserved by protecting it from microorganisms. Food can be preserved by different methods. Now if we want to preserve the food, so we have to keep safe food from these microorganisms. Then there are different methods by which we can preserve food, we can keep food safe from the microorganisms. The first method is chemical method. So chemical method, in this method the food like a pickle, mango pickles, lemon pickles, many pickles are there available in the market. So all the type of pickles can be preserved by using chemicals. Now what type of chemicals are used in storing or preserving the pickles? For example, the chemical salt or edible oil, there the chemical salt and edible oils are used. You can see when our mother makes mango pickle, she is adding oil in that, as well as she is adding more salt in that. So in this way the pickle can preserve for 1 year. Then different type of jams and squashes are there which can be preserved by using the sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfite, and these are the chemicals which are used as a preservatives. So sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfite, you can write this name in your notebook, because these are the chemicals which are used in the chemical method to preserve the food. Next point is by using the common salt. Now common salt, again common salt, it can be used to preserve different type of food items, which are fish, meat, amla, raw mangoes, tamarind, which can be preserved by using the common salt, it prevents the growth of microorganisms. So how the salt helps? When we add salt in the tamarind, so tamarind can be preserved for 1 year because that salt stops the growth of microorganisms. So the microorganisms will not grow and the food will not spoil. In case of fish, meat, amla and raw mango, same salt will work. Now adding sugar or by using sugar. Now where the sugar is used, sugar is also one type of chemical. It is used in the jams, jellies, and we can see in different type of sweet dishes. Again, these jams can be preserved by using the sugar solution, and when you add more sugar in such type of food item, then it can decrease the growth of microorganisms, which can control the growth of microorganisms. Next point is by using oil and vinegar. In pickle, vegetables, fish, meat, etc. all are preserved by using oil and vinegar. Vinegar means acetic acid. So when we add oil vinegar in pickle, in vegetable or in fish or in meat, then it again prevents, it stops the growth of microorganisms. Next is by heat and by cold treatment. Heating food items kills microbes. Similarly, storing food items at low temperature prevents growth of microorganisms. So here, time to time, if we boil milk, then the milk will not get spoiled because the growth of the microorganisms will get prevented by heating again and again. And if some food items we store at low temperature, for example in refrigerator, then also it helps to stop the growth of microorganisms. Again, new method is given here, that is pasteurization method. So what is the pasteurization? The process of heating milk to about 70 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds and then suddenly chilling or cooling down it to prevent the growth of microorganisms, and this method is called as pasteurization method. Here the milk is not heated up to 100 degrees Celsius. Note this thing, because at only 70 degrees Celsius suddenly the milk is heated and suddenly it's cooled down. So for just 15 to 30 seconds only the milk is heated at or about 70 degrees Celsius, and suddenly it starts, when it cool down, then the growth of the microorganisms get prevented, and this method is called as pasteurization method, and this method is discovered by Louis Pasteur. So the name is given here. Next point is storage and packing. This is most important again. Many food items are stored in airtight containers to protect them from microorganisms. So here in the pictures you can see many airtight containers are shown where the food items are stored, and this airtight container protect all the food packets from the microorganisms. But when we purchase from the market, we have to take care that we have to see the expiry date on it. If the food packet or food item is expired, then we should not buy such food item, because after the expiry date the microorganism starts growing in such a food item, and after the consumption of such expired food, it may spoil our health, it may harmful our body. So we will have some vomiting, stomachache like these problems. So we should avoid all those food items which are already expired. So we have to check the expiry date and then we have to purchase from the market, and the expiry date is written on the bottom of the container or on the packet backside it is written. So we have to check where it is and we have to follow all those rules. Next point is nitrogen cycle. So here we can see, here you can see the nitrogen cycle, and the explanation is here. Nitrogen cycle: the nitrogen in the atmosphere is converted into nitrogen compounds in the soil by nitrogen fixing bacteria and blue-green algae. Now in our soil there are different type of bacteria we have seen. Now here we can, in this picture we can see the roots of the leguminous plant, and on the root there are some nodules which has the rhizobium bacteria, which helps to convert the nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen, into a soluble form of nitrogen. and which can make the soil more fertile again. So lightning also converted into nitrogen compounds in the soil. So lightning also helpful for the conversion of atmospheric nitrogen into the soluble compound of nitrogen. So blue-green algae, some bacteria like Rhizobium, lightning, these are most important, which can convert atmospheric nitrogen into soluble compound of nitrogen. The nitrogen compound in the soil used by the plants, and then the plant can prepare protein and fat. And when the protein is get prepared by the plants, then that plant starts grow properly. Animal, when they feed on the plant, when they eat the plant, that protein and other compounds which are prepared by the plant, they get transferred in the animal body. When plants and animals die, bacteria and fungi in the soil convert the nitrogenous waste into the nitrogen compound in the soil, which are again used by the plants. Some other bacteria convert some nitrogen compounds in the soil into nitrogen gas, which goes back to the atmosphere. Hence, the nitrogen in the atmosphere almost remain constant. So, this is the pea plant, means leguminous plants are there, by which the nitrogen can be fixed. By blue-green algae also nitrogen can be fixed. Lightning also helps to fix the nitrogen. And when the plant prepare the protein by the using nitrogen, when the plants are eaten by animals, then that nitrogen compounds and other compounds get transferred into animal body. But when that animal become dead, so that dead body of animal start decomposing, and slowly the nitrogen and nitrogen compound which are present in the animal body get converted into again nitrogen in the form of gases, as well as some nitrogen get in the mix in the soil, and some nitrogen in the form of gas mixed into the atmosphere again. So in this way, atmospheric nitrogen also remain constant. This is a cycle. So in this way you can see the cycle. So in this way it can continue and atmospheric nitrogen remain constant. So here, this is the last point of the chapter. So all the lesson is completed. Go through the book, read the chapter from the NCERT textbook, and